Understood. So how would you describe overall the level of damage, and how long would you predict it will likely take to return life to normal there?
Well, it looked like a war zone, like I said, when you were, you fly. You just had it finished, and now all of it is, just ruined. All the trees have no leaves. But all that, my structure of my house, I'm not even going to put a claim into insurance because my structure of my house is fine. The only thing I have down is a ceiling fan. But there are, there definitely are houses that got damaged throughout the Keys, and we just don't have an assessment from that. But it looks worse than it really is when you take a closer look at the structures.
All right. Well, let's hope that that cleanup effort continues at the same pace that you're telling us. We appreciate you speaking with us, Cammy Clark. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the full force of Hurricane Irma was not enough to destroy the hope of one Florida Keys resident. CNN's Randy Kay went home with a man who was surprised by what the storm left behind.
Mike Weinhofer has lived in the Florida Keys for 30 years, working fishing charters. He's about to see what's left of his house.
Right over there. My boat's still there. That's awesome. My house is still there. Look at the boats piled up here. Oh, my God.
How does your house look to you?
It looks like it's still there. Got weird boats in my front yard. Look here. It's all destroyed. Wow. The house is totally gone. I'm really kind of excited to see what's left. I don't think we got the 10 or 12 foot storm surge. I'll know as soon as I get to my house.
How many homes are totally destroyed?
That's total.
This is your boat right here?
Yeah, one of them. A little beat up, but it survived.
At first glance, what do you think?
It's not horrible. I still have a house. I still have my flats boat. Underneath my house looks a lot different.
Why? How so?
Well, I didn't have a lot of this stuff here before. A lot of this isn't mine. Like, that's not mine. The tackle box isn't mine. This will be the telltale. Watch.
Yeah.
It's dry so far.
The eye went right over your house.
Right over our house.
Isn't it amazing that it's still standing?
Yeah, I'm ecstatic. They changed our building codes about 5 years ago, and I think it made all the difference. We built a 180 wind load here.
Randy Kay reporting there, and as we mentioned, the power is out in much of Florida and millions are sweltering. Meteorologist Benjamin Javahari joins us now with the details. I mean, this is the problem, isn't it, in the aftermath of hurricanes like this, the problems of power outages, water, food, all of those sorts of things.
Absolutely.
It's a real problem. Of course, we've seen this rash. We've seen Harvey and Irma. Jose has disappeared.
Correct, yeah.
Is this it for a little bit?
For right now, it looks like Jose may not be a direct impact at this point. It might be veering away from the U.S. The latest model runs at least depicting that. I want to talk about something, though. When it comes to this sort of an event, Rosemary, of how many people are impacted, the one element that people often forget to think about is the power outages in relation to, of course, extreme heat coming in place of this. And you think about Florida, the elderly population is rather high, and we often say the elderly, the children. I want to break that down here as far as how we think things could play out here when it comes to just the extreme temperatures. The maps here in motion. And how about these temps? We're talking the early morning hours, 3 in the morning here. Temps into the upper 70s, lower 80s at this hour. And again, we're talking millions of customers without power as well. And really what's fascinating to me is you look at the perspective of Key West into Naples, the areas that were directly impacted. The weather observations literally out of commission from the power of the storm system take you out towards the Caribbean. Turks and Caicos, Grand Turk, no weather observation to be had. And through Beef Island, that's the British Virgin Islands, into St. Kitts and Nevis, also no weather observation. So you can kind of see where the track of the storm was just by looking at what weather instruments are not reporting. But the forecast, at least across southern and central Florida, looks as stifling as it gets. Middle and upper 90s into the afternoon hours. Keep in mind, an estimated 6 trillion gallons of water fell from the sky across the state of Florida in the last couple of days. So with all of that moisture evaporating, you get the humidities up. Your body's #1 response to being able to cool off is through sweating. If humidities are close to 100%, sweating will not happen, at least not very efficiently, and that is a major concern with 4.3 million million customers without power. That's about, say, 3 to 4 people per customer. So we're talking maybe 12 to 16 million people without power when you break it down as such. But the numbers look as such when you look at 1 in 20 people estimated to be over the age of 80 in the state of Florida, and of course over 3 million estimated to be up to 60 years old or older. So the body's ability to efficiently cool itself is essentially severely limited when you're at an elderly group or below the age of 5. Sweating is not as effective, Rosemary, and of course, once your core temperatures get up above 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 40 Celsius, then your organs begin to fail, your systems begin to shut down, and heat stress sets in, Rosemary. So we talk about heat illness, which is a daily occurrence if you're outside in an extreme temperature for, say, 3, 4, 5 hours. That's heat illness. Heat stress is a cumulative effect, and that can happen over a period of several days. We know there are several nursing homes and such across Florida that have been without power since Sunday morning. So we're going on 3 or 4 days. A lot of these areas, people are not going to be able to handle it in areas that, frankly, the air conditioning is running 365 days a year. So this could be a very big story if power is not restored, and a lot of people are working on that right now.
It's a big part of the story. Just because the hurricane is gone doesn't mean this is over by any stretch of the imagination,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Pedram, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Well, damage and desperation across the Caribbean after Hurricane Irma. European leaders are being criticized now for not doing enough fast enough. We'll take a look at that next.
It's not an anti-aging face cream. It's realizing beauty doesn't stop at my chin. Rock's formula adapts to delicate skin areas. My fine lines here, visibly reduced in 4 weeks. Chest, neck, and face cream from Rock. Methods, not miracles.
Arthritis. My back pain.
It hurts all over.
Wherever you feel pain, it can be managed from here with Quell. From this optimal point, the revolutionary Quell technology accesses the central nervous system. It sends precise neural pulses to the brain that trigger your body's own natural pain blockers. Quell is 100% drug-free, FDA-cleared, and easy to use. And for 4 out of 5 people, it works. Reclaim your life from chronic pain with Quell. Go to getquell.com to order now.
Sandals. More quality inclusions than any other resorts on the planet. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters. Ship packages. All the services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/TV and never go to the post office again.
Luxury. The Jewelry Exchange has these rare 10-carat diamond studs for $59,000. 13-carat custom tennis bracelet, $13,000. 5-carat VS1 Asher is $79,000. Plus thousands of GIA diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. The Jewelry Exchange Direct.
Vacation rentals? Search Home to Go Florida from $64, Colorado from $60, Hawaii from $70. The world's largest vacation rental search engine. Go to Home to Go now and save up to 60%.
Home to Go.
We always were told we were German. We were in a German dance group. I wore lederhosen, so I just started poking around on Ancestry. Then I decided to have my DNA tested through Ancestry DNA. It turns out I'm Scottish, so I traded in my lederhosen for a kilt.
Hey, allergy muddlers, are you one sneeze away from being voted out of the carpool? Try Zyrtec. It starts working hard at hour 1 and works twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Stick with Zyrtec and muddle no more.
Whoa, that's amazing. Hey, I'm the internet. I know a bunch of people who would love that.
The internet loves what you're doing. So put your idea online with a domain name from GoDaddy. Enter your idea and we'll find you a one-of-a-kind name. We've helped 17 million people find the perfect domain name for their website. Get your domain name and start building a website for free.
In North Korea, kids play video games where they battle a sworn enemy, America.
What if I told you I'm an American? Do you want to shoot me too?
Yes. CNN's Will Ripley goes on an exclusive journey to places you've never seen and meets people loyal to only one family.
As soon as we receive the order from our Supreme Commander, we will liberate South Korea, and we will turn the U.S. mainland into a sea of fire.
Secret State Inside North Korea, Friday night at 10.
Welcome back, everyone. The Caribbean desperately needs help after Hurricane Irma ravaged a series of popular islands. 38 people were killed when Irma plowed through as a Category 5 storm. Many people are running low on food, water, gasoline and other essentials. European countries are starting to deliver some aid after they were criticised for not doing enough fast enough. This is one of the destruction of St. Martin, one of the islands that has reported significant looting. The situation there is desperate. The north is administered by France, the south by the Netherlands. Both were levelled when Irma roared through the Caribbean as a
have allowed us to stay here, and that's the only reason we can even put this broadcast out there. One of the few things, Tom, I know you're camera shy, I know you didn't want to talk about this, but when you talk to people, this is what happens. Why are you sleeping here?
The roof of my house is gone.
You can't sleep in your house anymore?
Once it gets a little bit better fixed, I will be, yeah, but that's going to be a while.
All right, so for the moment, Tom is one of the many people who's homeless. We can put it that way, and who's sleeping here with his wife. He's part of the sports section at the paper. Let me show you this. This is the lifeline. I was telling you about the gasoline. We consider that this is about 2 hours of power. And with everything that's been filled up, we have maybe 2 days of power. Once that goes out, not much we can do. And this is the printing press. They can't print anymore because this requires water. There's no water. It's essentially what the Dutch Marines are giving you in terms of water. This is the last newspaper they printed on Tuesday. It was the day before the hurricane hit. And this is the headline. Businesses must close at noon, curfew 8 p.m. Now, with all this, there is one glimmer of hope, which is we've learned now that tomorrow, 2 things are going to reopen that are key to a normal functioning life here in St. Martin, and that is supermarkets. A couple of supermarkets have said that they're reopening on Wednesday. That's going to bring a great relief if they do open to the population of St. Martin, and gas stations as well. A couple of them have warned that they would reopen. There will be security to ensure that it's done in an orderly fashion. It is the very, very beginning of life restarting in St. Martin.
Cyril Vignier reporting there, and French President Emmanuel Macron is pledging to rebuild the French territories devastated by Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean. He visited St. Martin on Tuesday to survey the devastation firsthand. Officials say 95% of the island was destroyed. Mr. Macron assured residents that life will eventually return to normal.
Les jours qui s'ouvrent sont les jours du retour à la vie normale.
The days that follow are the days for returning to normal life and for reconstructing. And it's important that as many people as possible, everyone who can and who wants to, stays on the island of St. Martin. And I say this because St. Martin has a future, one that
Caribbean islands unrecognizable. Some people in the British Virgin Islands lost everything and are now all but stranded. But CNN's Paulo Sandoval reports there are glimmers of hope on the island of Tortola.
Well, when you think you've perhaps seen some of the worst damage caused by Hurricane Irma, you come here to the largest island in the British Virgin Islands, and you can see the devastation is widespread here on Tortola. You can see what's left of one of the marinas here. This is certainly one of the hardest hit regions. People here had been struggling to find food, to find water. However, supplies are slowly making their way here, and also neighboring Caribbean islands that have been hard hit. Many of the residents that call some of those places home have had to evacuate to nearby Puerto Rico, the United States. Many of the people who live here are trying to make it back to the UK. We've also heard some remarkable stories of survival, people who have essentially had to huddle inside their homes to ride out the storm and then had to scrap whatever they can to try to eat and drink. And that is the reality for many people here. Resources are slowly but surely making their way to some of these regions that were devastated by Hurricane Irma nearly a week ago, but it's certainly not at the rate that many locals would like to see it happen. What does stand out after our time here in the Caribbean has been the resilience for many of the people here who are determined to clean up, they are determined to rebuild, and they are particularly determined to get their piece of paradise back. But for now, the reality is that long road to recovery, people are just getting started on that journey. Reporting on the island of Tortola, Polo Sandoval, CNN.
The United Kingdom is defending its response to Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean. The UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson is visiting British territories there after the British government was criticised for not moving quickly enough to help victims.
We have every sympathy for the suffering of the people who have been hit by this extraordinary hurricane, the biggest in 150 years. But I think most fair-minded people, looking at the deployment that the UK has made, this is the biggest military deployment, Sam, that we've seen since Libya. The point, the message that we want to give, the reason I'm here as Foreign Secretary is because, of course, these are overseas territories. These are British people. We're here to show our support, not just for the short term, but for the long term.
And CNN's Nina Dos Santos joins us now live from London. Good to see you, Nina. So politicians from both major parties say Britain's response to Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean has been found wanting. That's pretty telling, isn't it? Why was Britain so slow to respond, and what all is it sending so far?
Well, the Foreign Office and the British government at Number 10 have been saying that people have to remember that these aren't the same types of jurisdictions that, for instance, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is dealing with, where territories like, for instance, Guadeloupe and Saint-Martin are actually part of French territory. These countries, in particular the British Virgin Islands, they're actually parts of the British overseas territories, and they are self-governing, which means that the UK doesn't have the same military infrastructure, permanent military infrastructure out in this region from which it can deploy military personnel and also the badly needed food and water items, water purification tablets, and so on and so forth. Having said that, though, the government has earmarked about $41 million worth of relief aid. They've already deployed about 1,000 military personnel across these British overseas territories in the Caribbean to help specifically with the relief effort. And also there are about 50 police officers who've been sent from the UK to help shore up security in islands like, for instance, Tortola, that you heard Polo Sandoval reporting from before, where obviously there's big concerns about issues like looting and so on and so forth. And there will be more aid that is on its way from here. HMS Ocean, which is a big ship that has set sail from Gibraltar, carrying about 50,000 water purification tablets, 5,000 hygiene kits and 10,000 buckets for collecting rainwater so that people can drink something clean. That is on its way over towards these islands, but of course it'll take about 10 days to get there. So in the meantime, what we've had is government ministers like Boris Johnson turning up, albeit a day later than, for instance, the King of the Netherlands and the French President. And they're probably going to have to try and rely on places like the United States to mobilize food aid, to buy food aid over from the mainland in the US to help people who need water, food and medical supplies before the UK can manage to get them over from Europe. Rosemary?
10 days is a long time when you're in need. Many thanks for that live report. Nina Dos Santos joining us from London, where it is nearly 8:30 in the morning. Marco Island, Florida was also pummeled by Hurricane Irma. Coming up, we will talk to a resident there about how she rode out the storm alone. Back in a moment with that.
After brushing, Listerine Total Care strengthens teeth, helps prevent cavities, and restores tooth enamel. It's an easy way to give Listerine Total Care to the total family. Listerine Total Care. 1 bottle, 6 benefits. Power to your mouth.
Hi, I'm Johnny Bench. After a Hall of Fame career, it's no wonder why I use Blue Emu Arthritis Cream. Blue Emu's non-greasy, deep penetrating formula gets down deep into those joints for big-time pain relief. Blue Emu, it works fast and you won't stink.
We believe in rock and roll. We believe in blasting it down the fairway, turning up the heat and the fun. At Del Webb, we believe in life and you. We believe you'll like it here.
Too short, too tall, plunging V-neck, plunging. What do you think about this guy?
Too weird, and you're swiping the wrong way.
Oh.
If you can get picky finding Mr. Right, why not get picky with your TV?
Introducing a la carte TV, only from Sling. Start at $20 a month. Then pick your personal channel lineup and save.
Oh, what do you think about him?
Ay, papito.
Go to slingtv.com and start watching 7 days free.
If you know someone who has an uncontrollable gambling problem, it may not be their fault. The Food and Drug Administration is now warning that Abilify can cause uncontrollable gambling. If you had significant financial losses or lost your home due to gambling losses while taking Abilify, you may be entitled to a cash award. Time to file a claim is limited, so don't miss your opportunity for a cash award. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 800-708-4699. That's 800-708-4699.
It's the flooring sale you've been waiting for. Empire Today's half-price sale. Get $2,400 of flooring for $1,200, $5,200 for an amazing $2,600. That's half the price of your entire purchase. Shop for carpet, hardwood, tile, vinyl, and laminate right from home and have it professionally installed. Don't miss Empire's half-price sale. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. This loss hurts, but fighting for what's right is worth it.
Hillary Clinton. In her own words, what happened in the 2016 election? The Anderson Cooper Hillary Clinton interview. Tomorrow night at 8, only on CNN.
This is important news from the Diabetic Supply Line. If you, a friend, or a family member has diabetes and you have lost your supplier, or if you need a supplier for your diabetic supplies, you may qualify to get your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. To be potentially eligible, you only need Medicare or private insurance. Call the Diabetic Supply Line right now for details. It's a free call that just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly agents are waiting 24/7 with free, no-obligation information. We handle all the insurance paperwork and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free. And if you call right now, we'll send you a free pedometer as your special bonus. Regardless of your age, if you or a loved one needs diabetic supplies and you have Medicare or private insurance, call us now. Call the Diabetic Supply Line now. Operators are standing by to take your call. Call now.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Welcome back to our viewers here in the United States and, of course, all around the world. I'm Rosemary Church. Let's return now to Hurricane Irma and its aftermath. 55 people died in the storm in the U.S. and the Caribbean. The Federal Emergency Management Agency estimates 90% of the homes on the Florida Keys have been destroyed or heavily damaged. Many residents who evacuated are eager to get back home, but Governor Rick Scott urged them to check with local officials to make sure it's safe. The city of Jacksonville is trying to recover from a record-breaking storm surge and flooding. About 5 million homes and businesses across the state are without power. Marco Island in Florida was hit hard by Hurricane Irma, and many people rode out the storm while their houses fell apart around them. One woman spent some harrowing hours alone with her dog because of gas shortages. She says she thought the safest choice was to stay put. Elizabeth Hoyerman captured these images of the aftermath in Marco Island, and I spoke to her earlier about her experience and what's next for her and her community. Now going forward, what lies ahead for you, and how long do you think it will take to get life back to normal?
Well, I think that some of the buildings, I actually was passing by a building that was across from the post office, and the entire roof was just, demolished. It was terrible. it was a big building as well. So I was really surprised about that. Our generator, the actual air conditioning on the top was damaged severely, so I think they're going to have to replace it. So that's something that's going to have to be done. My place, I mean, we're going to board up the windows tomorrow. So right now they're just wide open because there was nobody. I mean, there's so many people are having problems right now that, you know, you just can't get somebody to help. And also the supplies are very limited right now. So, but once I get that taken care of, I was really lucky. I mean, my neighbor, he had carpet. I have ceramic throughout. His carpet is completely saturated. And so he was actually here in the storm at this apartment. The winds were blowing, all the rain and everything was coming into his unit. It was just terrible. It was not a good thing for him. He's actually just next door. And
right.
So, but I think that my place, I was really lucky. There wasn't that much structural except for the windows. And then there was some coming through the front windows here, so I had to mop everything up. And then we're going to have some things taken care of and paint and that kind of thing. So I think mine will be fixed in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But there's other damage to the island that I'm sure is going to take a little bit longer.
Indeed, and we've been looking at pictures as you've been speaking with us. Just one of so many stories in the wake of Hurricane Irma. Elizabeth Hoyerman, thank you so much for speaking with us. We appreciate it.
You take care.
All right, we'll take a very short break here, but still to come, while North Korea fumes over harsh new sanctions, South Korea is carrying out live fire drills with the U.S. The latest on the nuclear standoff. That is next.
Building a website in under an hour is easy with GoCentral from GoDaddy. In fact, 68% of people who have built their website using GoCentral did it in under an hour. And you can too. Build a better website in under an hour with GoCentral from GoDaddy.
Vacation rentals? Search Home to Go Florida from $29, Texas from $45, Home to Go California from $34, New York from $37. The world's largest vacation rental search engine.
Home to Go. If you have Medicare Parts A and B and want more coverage, guess what? You can apply for a Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan whenever you want. No enrollment window, no waiting to apply. That means now may be a great time to shop for an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Medicare doesn't cover everything, and like all standardized Medicare Supplement Insurance plans, these help cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay. So don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide. It could help you find the AARP Medicare Supplement plan that works for you. These types of plans have no networks, so you get to choose any doctor who accepts Medicare patients. Rates are competitive, and they're the only plans of their kind endorsed by AARP. Remember, these plans let you apply all year round, so call today, because now's the perfect time to learn more. Go long.
Have you ever seen something so beautiful that all you could say was, wow? Or walked on the world's best beach at a place that made you feel like you were in a dream, where family comes first and fun is measured one ride at a time, where you're served like royalty but treated like family. Beaches, Turks, and Caicos, where anything is possible because everything is included. Wow! Get up to 65% off. Call 1-800-BEACHES.
My name is Jeff Sheldon, and I'm the founder of Bugmonk. Before ShipStation, it was crazy. Like, it's great when you see, 100 orders come in, but then you realize I got 100 orders that I actually have to ship out. ShipStation streamlined that whole process. The order data, the weights of the items, everything is seamlessly put into ShipStation. So when we print the shipping label, everything's pretty much done. It's so much easier. So now we're ready, bring on the orders.
ShipStation, the #1 choice of online sellers. Go to shipstation.com/TV and get 2 months free.
Congratulations to the CNN original series United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell for winning at the 2017 Emmy Awards.
I think you'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think he'd like it.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications, such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On Group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-234-8708. That's 800-234-8708.
You're pulling that power down. So, pull that orgasm down. Yes.
Welcome back, everyone. The U.S. Supreme Court just sided with the Trump administration and granted a request to uphold the travel ban for most refugees. The order affects about 24,000 people who would have been granted entry by an appeals court ruling last week. Now they're banned once again. The Supreme Court will begin considering the full legality of the ban in October.